Hey guys, I'm going to show you guys how to make biochar. Many of you may have not heard of biochar before. Today I'm going to show you how to make the biochar. With just a bag from the store of charcoal, some really smelly fish emulsion, a little bit of maxi crop seaweed, and a good amount of good compost. I'm going to show you how to make some biochar. This right here is charcoal. I actually bought this from the store because I didn't have time to make my own. But biochar starts with basically charcoal. You can cook it in a 50-gallon drum. There's multiple different ways you can do it. You can look it up on YouTube how to do it. What you're doing is you're taking a bunch of hardwood, mixed hardwood, cooking it down, of course, like burning it off, and then smothering it really fast, and then allowing it to keep charcoal and not just ash, because you don't want ash, you want charcoal. I got this from the store. This is mixed hardwood charcoal. If you notice, this is incredibly porous. If you look at that there, incredibly porous. It will actually soak up 5 times its weight in anything, in water or nutrients that are there. So when you burn, like let's say you burn a huge brush pile and you say, man, you know, this year I want to go ahead and put my plants in that ash, in that charcoal that was burned right there. You're going to put your plants there and you're going to find that it does terrible, that it doesn't grow, that your plants turn yellow. They just do not do well. And the reason being is that if you put it in the ground, it's going to soak up all the nutrients, all the water that it possibly can, and it's not going to let it go for a little while until it's full. And then it'll start leaching off the nutrients. So when you put it in the ground by itself, it'll pull all that nutrients away from your plants and your plants will die. And that's why you want to charge this charcoal. You want to charge this battery. And so that's what biochar is. Bio means life, and biochar is giving life to the char. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it life. You can do it in multiple different ways. There are so many different ways to charge it. You could put it in your compost that you're composting currently and let it sit there and let it mix with the compost. I'm going to put it in with compost that's already been fully composted. I'm going to put some fish emulsion with it, some seaweed mixture as well, and then I'm going to go ahead and let it set for about 2 weeks. It needs 2 weeks to fully charge. First thing I did was I broke it up. I broke it up into smaller pieces. You want each piece to be about no more than an inch or so. And so I broke it up in a bunch of different smaller pieces. And then I want to do a 1-to-1 mixture between my compost and my char. So 1-to-1 between your compost and your char. And so that's what I'm going to do. I had a bucket full of char. This is my compost that I composted. I also put a little bit of dairy dew because my compost I didn't think was really perfect. I'm still learning. And so I mixed a little bit of dairy dew compost with that as well. And so, but this is a bucket of compost and I had a bucket of char. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. And then I have 10 tablespoons of fish emulsion and a teaspoon of this maxi crop. This is a really high in potassium. So, and then the fish emulsion is a 5-1-1 mixture of the Aqua Power fish emulsion. So I'm going to get a lot of nitrogen in that as well. Hopefully some nutrients in that. So I'm just going to pour that in as well. That's going to be nice and smelly. Another thing that you can put in there is you can put in there a little bit of molasses. Molasses allows the micronutrients and the bacteria to really feed. It's giving them quick energy, something to feed on really fast. So you can put molasses in there, you could put flour in there, a little cornstarch in there, just small amounts to help them really start feeding. I'm going to try it without it today. Some people do it without it and it works just fine, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. You add water and keep it moist too. What you want to do is make sure that when you pick up, this all gets mixed up, if I squeeze it, it might have 1 drop of water come out of it. That's the moisture you want. You don't want it to just be draining water. You also don't want it to be dry and not dripping anything. Drip about 1 or 2 drops and you know that your water content's about good. So that's about good. It's just dripping slightly, you can see it in my hand. So, might be slightly moist. I think it's pretty good. If it's a little bit too moist, you can always add a little bit more compost. It's not gonna hurt if you got it a little bit too wet. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put little holes in the bottom of this tub, or near the bottom. And why do I do that? I wanna make sure I'm getting some airflow in there to give the bacteria some oxygen to live. I don't want them to suffocate. I don't want this to be all anaerobe. I want this to be some aerobic activity going on in here. And so we definitely want some holes in the bottom of the bin to go ahead and give it some airflow. And then we'll also be turning it periodically throughout the next 2 weeks. 14 days it's gonna be in here for 14 days. Do not use it any sooner. Your charcoal will not be ready yet. Leave it for 14 days and then you should be ready, and go ahead and you can use it. I'm gonna put cardboard over the top and then we'll be good to go. So that's a little bit of how you make biochar, and we'll see how it works in a couple weeks when we plant our garden. Just know that when this has a lot of bioactivity in it, when it is fully charged, this can live in the soil for hundreds to thousands of years. And that's why the Amazon soil is so good even today. So if you get your garden filled with biochar and you keep making it and you keep putting it in there and you get your concoction really good, your garden could be getting nutrients from this for a very long time. You guys have a great day and go out and make some biochar.